What's up, Hobby Maniacs? Rob Bear here today with a look at the newest White Dwarf. This is issue 98, going into the holiday season, obviously dated 12th of December 2015. It is indeed my birthday weekend, and if you follow along with The Long War, it's Juicy J's birthday weekend as well, so we will probably be getting together here soon and getting our drink on and having some crazy Long War cat daddy responsible adult beverage fun. You know what I'm saying, right? So this issue was kind of cool. It was a closer look at the new, crazy Pan's Labyrinth, Lord of Super Ninja Sorcery kind of gaunt summoner guy. He's got really interesting rules if you're still following along with the Age of Sigmar. He's really cool looking. $40 US. I think it's like $80 Australian. I feel really bad for this guy. Sorry, y'all. That's kind of rough. But it's an interesting issue. It's not like super crazy. It's obviously a little bit on the filler. It does have a paint splatter article, which I was really digging. Then it's got Archaon versus Nagash. Some heavy metal stuff. It's just some fluff. But it does have part 2 of the Horus Heresy War Scroll kind of thing. So that was, the Horus Heresy guide to all the books, the audio books, the novellas, all sorts of different little things that are out there. So if you wanted to follow along with a particular, storyline or legion, like Raven Guard or something like that, you could, and they give you the chart on how to do it. And they also publish this on their actual site too, the Black Library site. So, obviously this issue is about Tzeentch. You've got the Call of Archaon, the whole Realm Gate series book coming out, and limited edition book and things like that. And then you got video game news now. If you haven't checked it out already, the company, I think it's Creative Studios, Home Creative, something or other. But anyways, the guy's making Battlefleet Gothic Armada, the video game that looks to be a really cool interpretation of the video game, of the board game. Put out a little teaser over the weekend where it looks like they're putting Star Forts into it, either the Ramses class Star Forts or indeed a Blackstone Fortress. So we'll probably see another video this week from them. They don't really have it on here. They're talking about the Death Watch, the Blood Bowl 2, and the Vermintide, Left 4 Dead Vermintide, of course. I think it uses that same engine and everything. Vanguard came out this week. We did an unboxing of that. Definitely check it out. It's here on the channel as well. They're basically pimping all that stuff. Now, next week, it looks like we might get some 40K loving, but not before we hit up the paint splatter, which is a really cool one. I like this one because it's got some different kind of color schemes to it. Obviously Tzeentch is Tzeentch, you know what I'm saying? So they got you got your pinks and purples, like your blue horrors, your pink horrors, all sorts of things. Those colors all go together. Some great ideas on parchment. Obviously that freehand is off the chain right there. But I really like this robes, how to do all this. And remember, and they give you, this is the second week in a row, they give you the how to use this guide. So obviously they're giving you a type of paint, and also the type of specific brush, and basically how to do it there. So really cool, interesting color combinations here. Now just to take a second and get on my soapbox, you got your blues, which are right here, obviously. So if you're gonna have blues and you're gonna do like a red, you want to make sure that you use a purple red, because purple obviously has blue in it, so it kind of matches. Now it's more on the pink side, which pink also tends to have purple in it too. So that's kind of like your color theory, Rob's color theory corner. Obviously, I am a novice when it comes to color theory. If you haven't seen Kenny's stuff over on The Long War and Next Level Painting, Kenny is off the chain when it comes to color theory. I don't even know how he comes up with the color combinations he does, but I'm just happy to be able to emulate it pretty well, the stuff I see him do. I could never do it from scratch, but I can definitely look at something he's done and get it pretty close, which I'm super happy with, because being able to have a specific vision to work from, I think is half the battle, I feel like, sometimes. So here's the big Clash of Titans. You got Archaon versus Nagash right there in a big crazy super battle. It was alright. It was pretty cool. It was a good little read, I suppose. Then you got some heavy metal stuff, nothing too crazy. Golden Demon time, it's cool because they've been breaking up the Golden Demons into units, into tanks, into there was another category too. I think, was it single mini? I forget, but basically they had a bunch of mini Golden Demons over in the UK. Don't do it here in America. They haven't done much in America, to be quite honest, since I don't know, the last game day in Baltimore is 2010. You got, I think Memphis was, I want to say 2013, but I don't know for sure because obviously I wasn't going to drive all the way out there. It was about 12 hours-ish for me from where I was at the time. So not really my bag, going to them for 10 years or so. You kind of, if it's within driving distance, it's reasonable, it's worth going to, but I feel like a 12-hour trek might not have been as reasonable, seeing as how I've been to a bunch, in the past. So it's kind of disappointing how, all the GW organized play and also, just the events and things kind of fell off in the US, the whole GT system, all that stuff. I feel like Fantasy Flight's doing it right, and I feel like, Wizards is doing it right. They got the organized play, they got the store league kits, they got the, the store championship kits, the tournament kits, all this stuff. It's really great, and getting players out and into the stores is where it's at. And I feel like FFG is really poised to have like this kind of like renaissance, kind of like Games Workshop experience, at the turn of the century, with the Lord of the Rings franchise. They just got like all this free money and all this, the movies were so huge, and they were just like, people were just going in droves to stores, and they were able to upgrade all their equipment, and just this huge influx in cash. And I feel like that's kind of what's happening with FFG right now, besides the merger with Asmodee Entertainment Group and all that stuff. I feel like Star Wars sells itself, let's be honest, and FFG's got the Star Wars titles. They position themselves beautifully for Episode 7, all the X-Wing, the Armada, all that stuff. It's just an amazing job that they did merchandise-wise, merchandise sales, just everything. It's just like, it's like the perfect storm of awesome, and I feel like they're really about to hit this renaissance, and it's, it's really disappointing to see, and I hold out hope in my heart of hearts for Games Workshop. This whole new studio thing, Roundtree is really going at it. He's like, the selections have been made. It was over November 30th. We haven't heard a lot about it, but remember, those selections were made. They have that studio. They are in the process of setting it up and getting their goals. I'm sure most companies break for around, bigger corporations break for 2 weeks around Christmas time, so I'm sure they're getting ready to go into that, but I'm sure they have goals. They're going to come back in January, hit it hot and heavy, come up with all this great stuff. Remember, Age of Sigmar is here. It was big. They invested heavily into it in the summer. Who knows how much releases they have laid out for the next, 2 years to 18 months. We're going to see Age of Sigmar for a while. They're going to splash it in. We might not agree with it. We might not like it, but it's going to be there because they've already invested and they've got the stuff on the roll, all the stuff in development and things like that. So whether they continue to put it out over that 18 to 24, I'd say 18 to 20 to 24 month mark, really depends. Or maybe they'll slow roll it. Maybe they'll just stretch it out over like 36 months. It's hard to say. But at this point, we still going to see it. So remember, just kind of remember that. But I think we're going to see a lot more in 2016, out there. I know for a fact that the Greater Demons are done. Whether they're going back, and not so much on the Tzeentch, but whether they're going back and retooling them and putting extra sprues in there like they did with Scarbrand, it remains to be seen. We're hearing conflicting reports of that. But on the whole, there's a lot of exciting things to still come in 2016. We haven't even seen the end of Horus Heresy yet. And speaking of Horus Heresy, obviously, here is, that whole chart I told you about. Like, if you want to go with the Shattered Legions, all the guys that got smoked on Esteban, here you go. Here's, your flow chart of what to read and where to go. You want to follow along with Vulcan, the whole backstory with Vulcan. The Imperium Secundus, that's where basically, Gilliman was like, yo, we lost track of Terra. We don't know what's happening. All right, well, we're going to make our own empire until we hear, because the empire, the Imperium has to carry on. Horus marching up to the assault on Terra, which who knows will take how many years. I feel like they're kind of milking that a little bit. In some regards there, but it's their flagship. Of course they want to do that, but now they're starting to put out the whole Beast Arises series, the whole 32K saga, which will really lead into a lot of really exciting opportunities with Xenos races and Xenos factions and Xenos things here and there. Then we got the rules for the new Gaunt Summoner of Tzeentch. Obviously, he's really interesting. This is a two sprue clan pack model for $40. He's obviously big. That looks to be about a 40 mil round base there. He's basically walking on a disc, but he's also kind of walking on air. He's like floating above the disc that's floating above the ground. Yo, dog, I heard you like to float. So let me get some floaties for your floaties. But you know what I'm saying? He's got that Pan Labyrinth kind of, head that's like no eyes. I don't know how he sees. I guess all his eyes are up in here. I don't know what's going on with that. But anyways, he's got some interesting rules. He can drop demons in every turn. Does a lot of, just kind of dirty stuff, so to speak. He's not like a close combat monster or anything like that, but he's respectable. It makes a great model for obviously stuff in Chaos, which we've heard that 2016 is going to be like the whole year of Chaos. So who knows? We might see Tzeentch as featured. That's what everybody's saying. It's going to be more focused on Tzeentch. Like this year was focused on Khorne. We've heard all this like different stuff here and there. Don't really know what to make of it. Next week it looks like we're getting an exclusive mission for the Horus Heresy. So that would be the 8th mission, I believe, because there was one a couple weeks ago that came in the book as well. If you like the whole betrayal at Calth kind of thing, we did some stuff. Actually, we did some like rules for kind of up in your games, playing with higher points, and we posted that on the blog, so definitely check that out. And we're refining those rules and trying to put out something a little bit more kind of solid for people to use to kind of actually play with, and play bigger games, because it's such a solid game set. There's not a lot of math. It's just like straight tactics. You just kind of run around, on the hex boards and just kind of shoot stuff. So it's really fun, and you can play it in an hour. It's just funsies. I really like it. So you got the Gaunt Summoner, you have the Paint Guide, the Realm Gate Wars, and books and things like that. So nothing too exciting for this week, so to speak, but it is the holiday time. They generally don't put out a whole lot of stuff at the holiday besides, like the whole bundles and, all that wacky stuff here and there. And I'm sure we're going to see a lot more of that over the next couple weeks, and then hopefully transition into maybe some 40K and or some Horus Heresy plastic box set releases here in the future. So that's it for this one.